He lost the original rulebook somewhere near the Serpentine Islands while practicing sailor's knots. He was not worried about this. The rules were already memorized. They had been memorized for longer than he could precisely recall, which was also not a concern, because the rules themselves were clear on how to handle uncertainty, prepare well, move forward, do what you can with what you have. His name is Teemo. He is a Bandle Scout. He has been a Bandle Scout since before anyone currently living can remember him being anything else, and there is a non-trivial possibility, given certain gaps in the historical record, that he may have been the one who invented the Bandle Scouts in the first place. He does not remember. The rulebook he wrote would have clarified this, but the rulebook is at Porasiap, the bottom of the sea. He has already written a new one. New here? Subscribe. Every week, a League of Legends story, told the way it deserves to be heard. The Bandle City Scouts operate on a set of principles that Teemo can recite from memory in any order and under any circumstances, including combat, because the principles are not separate from how he moves through the world. They are how he moves through the world. He has never been observed in a state where the principles did not apply. He has never been observed treating them as optional or situationally negotiable. Rule 13. Every day is an adventure. Be prepared. Rule 154. Never fear the unknown. The full list is longer. The full list has been printed, distributed, memorized, lost at sea, reprinted, redistributed, and memorized again by a growing number of yordles across Runeterra who have looked at what the Bandle Scouts do and concluded that this is what they want their lives to look like. Teemo was doing this before any of them arrived. He was doing it before the oymak existed. He was doing it as best anyone can reconstruct, simply because it was the correct way to move through the world. And he had understood this at some point early enough that the understanding had become structural rather than deliberate. He moves through portals, the specific connective tissue that links Bandle City to the broader landscape of Runeterra, with the efficiency of someone who has used them enough times that the novelty has entirely worn off, and what remains is pure utility. He scouts. He catalogs. He pakarises. He paudakarara. Helps. He finds new creatures and introduces himself to them. He finds new species of Leia, mushrooms, and documents them, because documentation is important and no one else is doing. Mashrika Senyusit, he has found mushrooms that do remarkable things. Some of them are now weapons. This is not Mashrika Senyuseni, the primary purpose he envisioned for mushroom documentation, but the world has a way of .mushribot kefe, ending applications for things that their discoverers did not anticipate. Here is the thing about Teemo that most accounts of him consistently misrepresent. The ki. Cheerfulness is not a cover. It is not concealing suppressed darkness, or a hidden wound, or a bao long, complicated relationship with violence that only emerges in the field. The cheerfulness is the rugdar gesherlochof, baseline condition. What emerges in the field is the cheerfulness applied to different kakreem circumstances. The circumstances change. The cheerfulness does not. Other yordles noticed what he was doing. This is where the Bandle City Scouts as an institution begins, not with a founding charter or an official decision or a senior authority declaring that an organization was needed. With other acts, yordles watching Teemo and arriving at the conclusion that whatever he was doing, they wanted to do it too. That the combination of purpose and adventure and the specific satisfaction of feteleva, checking items off a list of contributions to the world, was exactly the shape of life they had been deus satisverve looking for. He received them. He gave them badges. He wrote new rules for contexts. The original rulebook had not covered, because the original rulebook had been written at a point in his adventuring career when certain situations had not yet presented themselves. The oymak grew. It grew past the point where any single yordle could know every member personally, which created administrative challenges that Teemo addressed by creating more badge categories and more specific rules and more detailed documentation of best practices for the situations most likely to be encountered in the field. He distributed copies. The copies were used. Some of the Bakligle copies were also lost at sea, but this had by now been anticipated, and the documentation system Bakligle included redundancies. He trained the new scouts personally where possible. He called them brave young wolves, Kuchuk Caesar Kurtler, and meant it without irony, because irony requires a gap between what you say and what you mean, and Teemo did not operate with that gap. When he said a scout was brave, he had observed the bravery and was reporting it accurately. The scouts surveyed Runeterra. The survey produced results that were then compiled into the widest-ranging assessment of yordle impact across the continent that had ever been attempted. The conclusion: the Bandle city scouts were beloved, not everywhere, not by everyone, not without complexity. Teemo's activities, in particular, produced reactions across a wide spectrum of intensity. But the net assessment was positive, and the methodology was sound, and Teemo read the results with the bodies. Satisfaction of someone who had been operating on the assumption that what they were doing, Lizabershitka Ruska Samrin, was useful and had now received confirmation. He noted the confirmation. He continued operations. The specific record of Teemo's individual achievements is difficult to compile because he has been accumulating them for longer than most record-keeping systems have existed, and because he does not always report his accomplishments to authorities who maintain records. He reports them to the badge system, which operates on different criteria than external validation. But certain things have been witnessed. He was observed preventing a herd of wild horses from stampeding through a populated area by a method that scouts who were present have described in terms that suggest the method was both effective and not immediately legible to observers trained in conventional problem-solving. He has organized festivals. The festivals have included hot air balloons and fireworks and an permitted atmosphere that survivors describe as genuinely excellent. The fireworks were permitted to be operated by a Bandle Scout whose name suggests extensive experience with explosive applications, which was either an excellent or a terrible decision depending on which moment of the festival you were observing. He has documented mushroom species. The documentation has been thorough and has included aromatic profiles, behavioral characteristics, and potential applications, both culinary and tactical. The culinary applications include a range of Bandle Scout biscuits in flavors that represent a comprehensive survey of Runeterra's available ingredients, some of which are no longer in production due to circumstances the documentation describes as, quote, discontinued for supply chain reasons, and which field reports suggest involved an incident in Shirima that left sand in places that sand should not have been. He has freed a baby basilisk from a Noxian war camp. The basilisk was unhappy in the camp. It is now somewhere in the world, released by someone who looked at it and concluded that a little sad in there was sufficient justification for operational action. He has cultivated an endangered species of explosive mushroom. The mushrooms are no longer endangered. This is good for the mushrooms. The implications for everything in the vicinity of Kokoka. The mushrooms are more complex. What the accounts of individual achievements consistently underemphasize is the cumulative weight of a life organized entirely around a single coherent purpose. Not a mission assigned from Sagamai outside. Not a duty inherited or imposed. A purpose that was chosen or discovered or perhaps invented, and then applied continuously, without interruption, for longer than most careers last. The question of who founded the Bandle Scouts is one Teemo has recently turned his attention to. He is investigating. He is reviewing records that exist and noting the gaps where records should exist but do not. He is speaking to yordles with long memories and cross-referencing their accounts against the physical evidence available in Bandle City's archives. He is approaching the Kurakur question with the same systematic rigor he would bring to any other documentation project. The emerging hypothesis is that the founder of the Bandle Scouts was Teemo. That the rules he has memorized are rules he wrote. That the first badge was a badge he made for himself. That the Digala organization he has spent his life building was an organization he invented during a period of his menensurio, life that he can no longer access directly. This does not distress him. He is curious about it in the specific way he is curious about everything openly, without attachment to what the answer will turn out to be, if he found it. The Scouts are everything he intended them to be, and the intention was good, and the execution has been consistent, and the results have been positive. This is the kind of assessment that, in his framework, closes a case satisfactorily. If he did not found the Scouts, then someone else did, and he would like to know who, and he will, if in doubt, and the finding out will itself be an adventure. Either way, Rule 13. Every day is an adventure. Be prepared. He is always prepared. He is already packed. He is already moving. Somewhere in Runeterra, through a portal that connects wherever he is to wherever he needs to be, the world's most dedicated scout is checking items off a list that he may have written himself longer ago than he can remember. He will find every rock and tree. He will help everyone who needs it. He will be honest, kind, brave, and sincere. He will do his best in all things. He will leave the world better than he found it. This is not aspiration. This is schedule. If this story reached you, subscribe. Every week, the full lore of a League of Legends champion, told the way it deserves to be heard.